Hare Krishna, dear devotees, will start in just a few minutes.
The right one. Why is everyone? Oh.
We'll just give it a couple of minutes and then we will start. I'm just hoping. I just sent the link.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. So nice to see you always. Anya, are you new to the class?
Yes.
Awesome. What motivated you to join today?
I'm interested in about learning about Bhagwanji.
Oh, wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah, this is primarily a Srimad Bhagavatam Shloka class. So we tend to memorize or, at least try to recite shlokas. So it'll be interesting. Thanks for joining. How old are you, if I can ask?
I'm 10 years old.
Oh, wonderful. There's usually another kid also who joins who's like 11 years old. And he also, is very motivated to learn Prabhupada verses and things like that. We'll just give it a couple of minutes to see, if others are joining, and then we can start in just a couple of minutes. Hare Krishna, Vishnupriya Mataji, nice to have you here.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Now we'll just give it a couple of minutes to see if there's more people joining. Yeah, I'm wondering, Mataji and Prabhuji, what do you think is like the quorum or the critical mass, if not many people are joining, like if we want to cancel or something, what do you think would be a good number?
We should continue, Mataji. But if we cancel, then we miss Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maybe
You
we will
mean for
encourage.
today or going forward, Mataji?
I mean, any, even like considering today that there's just 4 of us, and then, even other times, like in general, I'm just asking if you have any inputs on this.
Yeah, this timing is a problem, Mataji. For many others in India also, like this is the morning time, right, Mataji? School children would be leaving. It's like that.
Yeah.
Even for me also, there are many other classes happening, like in our regular temples, like Bhagavatam, Mangalarti program in the morning. So this is a bit problem, Mataji. But already we discussed this because any other time is not possible for you, as far as I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And yeah, I'm just wondering, what do you think is a good quorum, to have the class or not? Nityanesim Prabhu, do you think it's just even if one devotee is there, we should continue?
Yes, Mataji, it is a good initiative, and I will try to get some more devotees. I will circulate in my group also. So, by Krishna's mercy, we will get more members, Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu. I just wanted to, just
because
make sure that
you are taking so much effort, and Bhakti Sangha group, and it is a good initiative because members, if they come more, they will. It is all for the benefit of the members, but why they are not earning? I will also put effort from my side, Mataji, so that they will get some benefit. I will hopefully some more members should come in the subsequent classes.
Sure, Prabhuji. I mean, I appreciate, your your concern, and I'm like you said, it's like Prabhupada verses are so sweet, and I feel that even if one person is there, if you all think that we should continue, then I'm happy with it. I just wanted to know, like, if everybody feels the same. I don't want people to feel like left out or things like that. So that's
as Mataji told, Vishnu Priya Mataji, those are the challenges, but we should work on it. And nowadays, so many online classes, as Mataji told, and also like we are in different part of the world timings. Like here in Muscat now, it is 4:30 in the morning.
I know how you do it.
But I am eagerly waiting for that class. It is a weekly once class. And the way in which you take and going into the deep of the sloka, understanding that nobody does, Mataji, to be frank. So we should continue, and we will encourage others also to come. So that way it should be a win-win situation, Mataji.
Yeah, the thing is, what motivates me is also, like the enthusiasm of all the devotees, and also the verses are so sweet, right? If not for the class, I don't know if I'll be going through them. They're just so sweet that, it just gives an opportunity.
True, Mataji. Even one devotee also comes, you should take, Mataji.
Sure, bro. Thank you for your encouragement, all dear devotees, really appreciate it. We'll continue with the verses from the second canto. And before we start off, we can recite the Mangalacharan prayers. Any devotees who would like to volunteer to recite these prayers? Anya, would you like to recite?
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishishta Shunyavadi Phasha Chate Deshatarane.
Yeah, do you want to continue with Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya?
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna. You want to continue?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Very beautiful, Anya. Very nice pronunciation. Thank you for reciting the Mangalacharan and setting it to an auspicious start. So like I mentioned earlier, we are, trying to learn to recite these verses from the second canto, and we were in the third chapter last time where we left off. We learned a few key verses there, and I think this was like the last verse we covered that day, or Ayurharati, I think, right? Or maybe not. This one's Shvavidvara Ushtakharehi. So in this chapter, like the first three chapters of the canto 2, the first chapter we saw the Virat Rupa of the Lord is discussed. In the second chapter, the Ashtanga Yoga process is discussed, and in the third chapter, the process of devotional service is actually very lightly touched upon actually in that chapter. And that's where the sages, like the sages who assembled at Naimisharanya, are actually glorifying Suta Goswami, and encouraging him to speak more. And then they are describing various qualities, like this verse which we saw last time, Shvavidvara Oshtra Kharehi, Nayat Karna Patho Peto, Jatu Namagadagrajaha. So this we saw last week. This we paused with this verse. In this verse, it says that, people who do not karna patho peto, nayat karna patho peto, who do not give their ears, who do not lend their ears, jatu nama gadagrajaha, to listen to the glories of the holy name, those people, and they're involved in glorifying like other people or other men who are, human beings who are compared to Shva with Varahoshakrai, like, dogs, pigs, camels, asses, like that. They're compared to animals who are just wasting their life. So if you do not lend our ears to the holy names of the Lord, then, we are just leading an animalistic life. So in that same vein, we'll be continuing today's verse. This is also a very often quoted verse and a very beautiful one. Yeah, this is the verse for today. Will be this is also continuing in the same vein, and where the sages are again, describing like how a person who is not lending his ears to devotional, to glorifying the glories of the Lord, or to kirtanam, or to shravanam, like that, who is not doing these things, what are they like? And so those qualities are being discussed. And I request any volunteers who would like to recite after me. We'll try to recite this verse, please. Vishnu Priya Mataji, thank you. Bile.
Bile.
Batorukrama.
Batorukrama.
Vikramanye.
Vikramanye.
Na shrinvataha.
Na shrinvataha.
Karnapute.
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 Narasya.
Narasya.
Jivvasati.
Jihvasati.
Dardurikeva.
Dardurikeva.
Suta.
Suta.
Na chopagayati.
Na chopagayati.
Urugaya gathaha.
Urugaya gathaha.
Yeah, this is also a very often quoted verse, and we'll try to learn. Prabhupada has quoted this verse many times. So very, very, very instructive verse also. So anybody has questions on any of the words here? Batorukrama, Shrinvata, Karnapute, Narasya, Dardurikeva, Chopagayatya, Urugaya Gathaha, Jivasati. So I hope the words are not too difficult, right? Yeah, we'll try to recite line by line. Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Bile batorukrama vikramanye.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Na shrinvata karnapute narasya.
Jivasati dardurike vasuta.
Jihvasati dadurike vasuta.
Jivasati dardurike vasuta.
Jihvasati dadurike vasuta.
Nachopagayatyurugaya gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya gata.
Nachopagayatyurugaya gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya gatha.
Yeah, if it is very difficult to combine this, we can just simply say, for simplicity's sake, Nachopagayati Urugaya Gatha also. Okay. The key is to kind of recite the verse for preaching purposes. So Bilebato Vikramanye.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Nashrunvata Karnapute Narasya.
Nashrunvatah Karnapute Narasya.
Nashrunvata Karnapute Narasya.
Nashrunvatah Karnapute Narasya.
Jivasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Jihvasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Jivasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Jihvasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Nashrunvata Karnapute Narasya.
Nashrunvatah Karnapute Narasya.
Jivasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Jihvasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Bilebato Vikramanye.
Nashrunvata Karnapute Narasya.
Nashrunvatah Karnapute Narasya.
Jivasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Jihvasati Dardurike Vasuta.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Nachopagayatyurugaya Gatha.
Yeah, very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. Any words stand out to you, Mataji, in this verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you want to share any meanings of any of
Yeah.
the words that stand out?
Sorry Mataji, it skipped and I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Yes Mataji. Bile means bilam means that holes Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know Shrinvata
Vikrama.
Vikrama
Urukrama, Vikrama, Trivikrama.
God Mataji.
Yeah, Krishna is saying. Very nice.
Krishna. Yeah. Shrinvataha is hearing. Karnapute means Karna means ears. Pute I don't know. Karna means ears.
Yeah, we learned it in 3 verses back to
Okay.
like pute. Ear holes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Ear holes. Okay. Narasya means a human being.
Yeah.
Jihva means tongue. Suta Goswami, and Gataha means singing.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, Mataji. You covered almost all the whole verse, like you covered most of the words, Mataji. Very nice. Anybody else would like to add any of the words that stand out to you? Okay, let's try to dig into the meaning of this verse. Like Mataji very nicely said, Bile is referring to the holes. Bile Batorukrama Vikramanye. So these ear holes, like of the snakes, Batoru Urukrama Vikramanye Na Shranvata karna pute narasya. So the human beings who do not lend their ears to listen to the urukrama vikraman, to the glories of the Supreme Lord, their ears are considered to be the same as the ear holes of the snakes. And then jivvasati darduri keva suta. So na chopa gayati urugaya gatha. And those who do not use their tongues to chant, jiva as the tongue, to chant the holy name of the Lord, those tongues are compared to the tongues of the frog, you know. And na cha upagayati. Upagayati means to chant loudly. That's what is the meaning. Urugaya Gatha. Urugaya Gatha is the glories of the holy name. So, of the Lord. So, this is what this verse is saying, like we saw in the previous verse, right? We saw that how, you know, who never listened to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna are compared to dogs, hawks, camels, and asses. Like that, in this verse, you know, these organs which we can use are, you know, karmendriya, which we can use. If we don't use them in the service of the Lord, so two karmendriyas, the tongue and the ears, are being discussed in this verse. If we don't use them to glorify the Lord, then these are just compared to like the snake's holes and also the tongue of the frog. So let's go into what Srila Prabhupada has translated it. And I would request anybody, any volunteer who would like to read the synonyms and translations, please.
I will read, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sure.
So, Bile, snake holes, Bata, like Urukrama, the Lord who acts marvelously, Vikrama, prowess, ye, all this, na, never, Srinavata, heard, Karnapute, the ear holes, Narasya, of the man, Jiva, tongue, Asati, useless, Dardurika, of the frogs, Iva, exactly like that, Sutta, O Sutta Goswami, na, never, Cha, also, Upagayati, chants loudly, Urugaya, word singing, Ataha, songs. Translation. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and tongue like the tongue of a frog. Very strong statement, Mataji.
Yeah. Now, all these verses, you know, in fact, we saw the previous verse too, right? Like it's comparing to, you know, dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Like, and I mean, these are all very strong verses, like in the Bhagavatam, like after this. And also the other two verses, you know, if you're interested, we can try to see, like, they're also very, very strong verses. Let me like quickly share that one also. Let me bring up the Veda base. The other two following verses also are like very, very strong and instructive. We'll quickly try to read the translations of those. Yeah, 21. Yeah, let me share this one. Can you see the screen I shared?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so this verse is Bharaparam patta kirita jushtam apyuttamangam nanamen mukundam shavau karau na kurute saparyam hare lasat kanchana kankanau va. So this one, the upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead. So this is talking about, you know, our head, like our brain and our intelligence, and it's like compared to, you know, though we may have a silken crown over there, a turban there, but it's only a burden, you know, if we don't bow it before the personality of Godhead. So this is again, like I said, very, very beautiful. And the example of Maharaj Pratap Rudra, though he was the king, how he, wanted to get the darshan and association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being discussed, how he waited, so long and was literally begging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give him his darshan. So that is being discussed here in this purport. Then we can also quickly see the next verse. Yeah. Barhaite te nayane naranam lingani vishnu narikshato ye padau nranam tau druma janma bhajo kshetrani nanu vrajato hareryau. The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. So this is again another very heavy statement. So the peacock plumes, they have so many eyes, but you cannot see with those. And then the tree trunks, they can never walk, right? So if we do not go on pilgrimages, then our legs are considered to be like tree trunks, which are actually sthavara, like they are immovables like that. Think. This another. Jivan chavo bhagavataghri renum najatu martyo bhilabheta yastu Shri Vishnu padya manujastu lasya shvasan chavo yastu na veda gandham. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. This is again like the second verse, right? He's saying it's a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. We have another verse too, right? Which, Mandanam Loka Ranjanam, that goes like that, which also kind of conveys the same meaning. If we don't use our body in the service, it's like decorating a dead body like that. That one more verse is there. But all these verses are, consecutive verses. This is like another verse. Tadasmasaram hridayam batedam yadgrihyamaner harinama dheyaihi na vikriyetath yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruheshu harshaha. This is a very strong words. Certainly that heart is steel framed, which, in spite of once chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place or tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand on end. So if we do not, experience that kind of symptoms, then the heart is very steel framed. That's what is being told. Yeah. Very, very beautiful verses, strong verses. And, these are, so yeah, that's about like all those heavy instructive verses. I mean, the beauty of it is that these things are so explicitly explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, like, how important it is to take to devotional service and to use all our, faculties in the service of the Lord. But still, there's so many people who cannot understand or do not take to it, right? So it's very surprising that even though these things are so explicitly stated, right? I mean, it's not like it's written in some cryptic language where we cannot understand that. It's explicitly stated that we need to serve the Supreme Lord with our sensory organs, all jnanendriya, karmendriya, everything must be used in the service of the Lord. But even then, we don't try to read this and understand this. I mean, I'm speaking personally, not for all you great devotees. So it's very beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Matsi, just reading the translations of all these shlokas that you just showed, I just remember the shloka of Ambarish Maharaj, how he used all the limbs. It is like exactly opposite. How if you don't use, what are they? Savai Mana Krishna Padara.
Krishna Padara.
Yeah, the 3 shlokas continuously. like how to use all our limbs, all he used to do. So these shlokas are like the opposite. What we if we don't use.
Yeah, you're right, but I was also reminded of that, and let us, if let's try to look up that shloka. Yeah. Do you want to read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Savai mana Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanuvarnane karau harer mandiramarjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta shatkatodaye mukundalingalaya darshane drishau tadvrutya gatra sparshenga sangamam ग्रानं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्यारसनं तदर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो हृषीकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयारति. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, Mataji. You want to read translation, or anybody else would like to read also? Please go ahead.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yeah, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Translation. Maharaja Ambarisha always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. His words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temple, and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavana. He engaged his sense of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of Tulsi offered to the Lord. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Ambarisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. When this will happen, Mataji?
Jai. Very soon, Prabhuji. Very
Yeah.
soon, yeah. We should have the faith. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you, Mataji, for reminding to read this verse. Like Mataji said, this is showing us the, like what we could do. And the other verses which we were just seeing, they were talking about what we should not be doing. And these are like this is like positive engagement, how we can positively engage. So very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji, for bringing this up. And let's perhaps, if all are okay, we'll continue with the verses for today. So with this, the most often quoted verses of chapter 3 of Canto 2, they end here. And then the next verse, which we will be seeing today, is from chapter 4 of Canto 2. And from this chapter, like until the third chapter, I already mentioned the 3 topics that were discussed. So from the 4th chapter, Shukadev Goswami will start describing, actually answering Parikshit Maharaj's question and about the process of creation. So this verse in particular is referring to where Shukadev Goswami is, praising Parikshit Maharaj that, he gave up all his attachments, So this verse will be talking about that. I request one volunteer if you can recite after me, please.
I will read, Mataji.
Yes. Atmajaya Sutagara.
Mataji, that sloka is not displayed,
Screen
Mataji.
sharing is not coming, Mataji.
I'm so sorry, it's not working. I'm so sorry. I thought I chose this. It's not. Are you able to see now?
Still no Mataji. Earlier one is now I think not yet.
1 second, Prabhu. Sorry. Can you see now?
Yeah, it is. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah. Atmajaya Sutagara
Atmajaya Sutagara
Pashu Dravina Bandhushu
Pashu Dravina Bandushu
Pashu Dravina Bandhushu
Pashu Dravina Bandushu
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Raje Chavi Kale Nityam
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Raje Chavi Kale Nityam
Virudha Mamatam Jahau
Virudham Mamatam Jaham
Virudha Mamatam Jahau
Virudham Mamata Jaho
Atmajaya Sutagara
Atmajaya Sutagara
Pashu Dravina Bandhushu
Pashu Dravina Bandushu
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Virudha Mamatam Jahau
Virudham Mamata Jaho
Atmajaya Sutagara
Atmajaya Sutagara
Pashu Dravina Bandhushu
Pashu Dravina Bandushu
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Raje Chavikale Nityam
Virudha Mamatam Jahau.
Virudham Mamata Jaho.
Jai, very nice, Prabhu. Any words stand out to you in this verse?
Atma, soul. Jaya is glory.
Jaya,
Sutagara,
this is
Jaya.
it's a little
Jaya.
different. Mhm.
Jaya. Jaya, I don't know. Mataji. Sutagara is Suta. Is it Suta means Suta Goswami or son Mataji?
Son, yeah, children. Very nice, Prabhu.
Children, yeah. Pashu is animals. Dravina, again I don't know. Bandushu, relatives.
Dravya, do you know what is Dravya, Prabhu?
Liquid Mataji.
Yeah, Dravya is like material
Substance.
possessions.
Yeah, material position.
Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Krishna Dravinam Mai Radha, that is different, Mataji. In that also Dravina comes. Maybe that is different. Author Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami written one song, na Mataji.
Yeah, Krishna Prema Mai Radha, Radha Prema.
In that also Dravina comes. Maybe that Dravina is different, Mataji.
Yeah, I mean, there could be different connotations
Yeah.
to that word, Prabhuji. Like,
Yeah,
you know, the object of worship or, you know, the object of love, like that, in that sense. So
Yeah,
for Krishna, it's Radharani, and for Radharani, it is
Is
Krishna.
Krishna.
So Dravina is like referring to like objects, you know, like Dravyas in general, like to objects, like treasured objects. So this is basically in this context, is referring to treasury house, you know, of treasury house. Yeah,
Yes,
please
ma'am.
go ahead, Prabhuji.
Bandushu, the relatives.
Yes, Prabhu.
Raje Chavikale Nityam. Raje is the king, Mataji, or it is kingdom?
Kingdom, yeah, very nice, Prabhu.
Vikale, I don't know. Nityam is daily, eternal, and Viruddham is opposite.
Viruddha is Virudha.
Virudha. So I don't know, Mataji. Virudha.
No worries, Prabhu. Mamata.
Mamata is love, and Jaho, again, I don't know, Mataji.
No worries, Prabhu. Brilliant, Prabhu. You gave the meanings of so many words in the shloka. Just one.
I am just guessing, Mataji, from Sanskrit, little whatever Prabhupada word to word meaning. He has written so many word to word meaning. So I am just guessing. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Jaya, very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, Atma Jaya is referring to one's own wife. Sutta, like Prabhuji said, children. Agara is like, you know, Ratna Agara, Simhasana, stuff like that we have heard, right? To the palace. Pashu is animals, you know. Dravina is like I said, the treasury house. Bandushu, like Prabhuji said, the relatives, friends, like that. Rajya, kingdom. Cha avikale, attachment. Virudham, virudham means to uproot. Mamatam is like the love and affection or attachment. Jahau is to, give up like that. So in this, Parishit Maharaj is glorified that, he was so attached to Krishna, he immediately, gave up all his attachment to the wife, children, his properties like treasury house, the kingdom, his house, Pashu, like all the animals, all his infantry, he had like all those elephants and horses and, all those things he had to his relatives, friends, and to his kingdom. So he immediately gave all the attachment up to all these things. So that's how glorious Parishit Maharaj was. And also in that same purport, Prabhupada describes how Pandavas themselves were so glorious that, they could give up all attachments within a jiffy without batting an eyelid like that. So it's they're glorifying the, the Pandavas and then their offsprings. So let's read what Prabhupada has written for the translation. Anybody would like to read the translation and synonyms?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, please go ahead, Mata.
Yeah, thank you. So, word-to-word translation: Atma, body; Jaya, wife; Sutta, son; Apara, palace; Pashu, horses and elephants; Dravina, treasury house; Bandushu, onto friends and relatives; Rajya, in the kingdom; Cha, also; Avikale, without being disturbed; Nityam, constant; Virudam, deep-rooted; Mamatam, affinity; Jaho, gave up. Translation: Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom.
Jai, thank you so much, Mataji. It's already 8:05. I was thinking, maybe we can pause here for today. Anybody would like to share their realizations or thoughts, or any comments? Please do go ahead.
Mataji, Atma means, I thought it's a soul. Atma means body.
Yeah, Atma, like there are actually many meanings to this word. Like in Bhagavad Gita itself, I think Prabhupada gives at least six meanings to this word, Atma. Like in some cases, Atma is also referred to as mind. Some cases it's referred to soul. Some cases, like you said, to the one person, Atma is referring to a person like that, Atma, body. So like that, it is it has several meanings like that, Mataji. In Bhagavad Gita, we see that, Prabhupada gives in different contexts, like about 5 to 6 meanings. Like it also refers to mind in some places.
Okay, Mataji. So depending on the context.
Yeah. Prabhupada translates it like.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Very nice.
Thank you for the nice question, Mata.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else
Hare
has
Krishna,
any
Mataji.
questions?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Like today we had a beautiful revision, you can say revision also, because we went some other slokas also. So in nutshell, what Shastras or Srimad Bhagavatam is telling, that this human form of life we achieved very rare, and we should not, means so many animals names are there like snake, frog. So it is telling that you got such a auspicious human form of life, so do not waste animals. So how fortunate that we got human form of life, and after getting this human form of life, if we don't hear Srimad Bhagavatam, or if we don't associate with the devotees, if we don't take the dust of the feet of the devotees, then this again will means useless. Even though we got this precious life, but we become useless. So that's what is the message, Mataji. How like Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So Lord is revealing everything, that you got this human. And in this sloka 2.4.2, how Parikshit Maharaj renounced everything. Actually, we are like I'm telling her, I cannot renounce anything. Means that's how the scriptures are there. How means when this will happen? Sometimes because days are going, life is going, and how glory is the Srimad Bhagavatam Mataji. That's what I want to say. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you are renouncing your sleep. I mean, it's
No,
not an
Mataji.
easy thing to do. You're waking up at 3:30 or something in the morning to attend the class. That is a big renunciation, Prabhuji. It's not easy. It's
But Ambarish Maharaj says we have to be engaged 24 hours. Yeah, smooth. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. You're, saying things in a very humble mood. I can see that. Yeah. But thank you for sharing your realizations, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, the shlokas are very strong. And like you said, hopefully we can learn something from this. Yeah, thank you, dear devotees, for all your association. I think we'll pause here for today. If nobody else has any comments or questions, we'll recite the Vaishnava Pranam mantra. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo anantakoti Vaishnava. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll meet again next week with another set of verses. The next verse, I'll give you a sneak peek. This is also a very beautiful verse of what we should be doing. So we'll try. This is actually a Bhakti Vaibhav verse, very much worth memorizing. So this was one verse I learned long time back, but I kind of forgot. But thanks to you, I can revive my memory in trying to learn this verse. So thank you, dear devotees. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna,
much.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I'll be ending the meeting here.